Welcome back to the Midwest Stitches channel, everyone. My name is Danielle, and this is my channel all about my crafting things, knitting, crocheting, sewing, etc. And it has been quite a while since I had a chance to record. I think my last video went up at the end of May after Memorial Day, and today is Sunday, July 10th. So happy Scrappy Sunday, everyone. Since it has been so long, I have a lot to talk about. There is so much spread amongst behind the camera, over here to the side on this table. You can see a little bit of it here. Yeah, so grab a drink, grab a snack. We could be here for a minute. So first off, I want to say that you can find me on Instagram at midwest.stitches or on my website at midweststitches.com. And right now over in my shop, I'm having a Yule-a-ween sale, which is a term I got from Area 51 Fibers. You know, since Christmas in July and people are looking forward to Halloween already after the 4th of July. So right now, all of my Halloween and Christmas bags from the previous year are marked down $10 each. So those are already marked down. You don't need a coupon code. So if you wanted to grab one of those bags, I have zipper bags, drawstring bags, in all of those prints. So like my entire Hocus Pocus collection from last year. I have a ton of Christmas bags because if you've watched, you know, those are the first ones that I made. And I have, if you see me looking down, I have my iPad here with a lot of notes. I had to make notes for this one. I normally don't do that. Okay, so we'll start off with finished objects. I have 5, a couple knitting, a few sewing projects. So the first one, if you watched the last episode, I was working on a hat for my friend's husband for his birthday. I did finish that the day of his birthday party. It was like down to the wire. I was finishing the lettering on the hat. So I will put a picture here or here, whatever side it'll work on. And so this was out of, made out of breaking yarn, out of hazmat suit, and Jane Margolis was the black, and those are both fingering weight, 100% superwash merino, so no nylon. And it didn't turn out exactly how I wanted when I started doing the tapering, because I couldn't really find a pattern to follow, so I was just kind of winging it, and it was getting down to the wire where I needed to finish it. And I actually finished the knitting part like 2 days prior, because he had his birthday party on a Saturday, and so I finished that on like a Thursday. Finished the knitting, and then the lettering. So at first, the lettering, if you can see, that's actually crocheted. It is, what is that called? Slip stitching, crocheting or something. I can't remember the term, but anyway, if you look it up, how to do crocheted lettering or like decorative, oh, what is it called? I cannot think of it, because for knitting it's called duplicate stitch, so it's the crochet version of that. Because I started with duplicate stitch and it was not going well, so I decided, okay, let me look up and see if there's another way I can do this. So I found this crochet version, and you can do it on knitting. And I thought, okay, this looks easier. That was not easier. It was not easier at all. So if you've ever done this before, if you've ever watched videos on it, you actually, you know, the way you do the stitching, the slip stitching, you kind of work up. You can't really work in the reverse going down. and you watch any of the videos, it'll explain that to you, but you can't really carry the yarn. So like I had to do the letters in a bunch of different pieces. So there was a lot of ends to weave in, and trying to figure out how to do the lettering and spacing. And, you know, I drew out a little chart and all that kind of stuff, but that is the last time that I will do that on anything. And I can say that for sure right now because it was such a pain, And, I really wish I had done the letters a little smaller. That block of yellow, I did it 20 rows tall, or 20 rounds tall, and thinking, okay, that'll be big enough for the lettering. And then when I did like a chart or sort of chart on graph paper to figure out, okay, how many stitches over each, because I originally did that for the duplicate stitch, I did it for 18. So there'd be one row on the top and the bottom that would have a space. And I wish I would have done it about half the size. I think it would have looked better and it would have gone a lot faster. It took me about 8 total hours to do the lettering on that hat. And that was between the day before on Friday, and then I was still finishing it up into Saturday morning, like all morning long, until I was getting ready to go out or into town for the party, because I live about 35 minutes from where they are in town. So needless to say, it's done. He said he likes the hat or loves it, and he loves handmade things. So it was worth it. He'll be the only person that ever gets anything like that. I didn't mind the knitting part. That wasn't bad at all. I would probably look for an actual pattern next time. But so there's that. My second finished object, which if you watch my sock knitting techniques video, which if you haven't seen that, it's a cuff down sock knitting techniques video. Go take a look at that. You will have seen these socks in there. I used them, they're covered in hair, as my sample for how to do some of the stuff. So here they are. These are my July 4th shorties. So this one obviously is red and then blue for the alternating, and then I swapped them for that one. So these I actually made in my size, and I did 5 rounds for the cuff, 5 rounds for the leg, and then started the heel flap. And I don't really like them. I wore them around the house a little bit, and I think it's because the cuff is so short, there's like nothing to really grip around my foot to keep it on. So, and I did these with 2.25 millimeter needles, because this is yarn. I talked about this last time, from Daisy Stitch Co., and it was from last year, and it was her Independence Day mini set. So it came with these 3 colors, and I had 3 sets of the 3. So I had 2 of each color to use. And so I'm actually going to talk about, you know, a future cast on and how I'm going to do it a little bit differently to try and see about sizing. So I'm going to give these to Adrian. He said he would take them. So, and his foot's basically the same size as mine. His foot is like a 1/4 inch bigger than mine. So he just wears them around the house. So anyway, that's done. I do love the colors though. I thought this was so cute. This was my first pair of shorties with the 5 and 5. And I think with shorties on my next pair, which will probably be next month, I'm going to do like 10 and 5, because I did 10 and 10 with the first pair that I did, which was the Mayflowers yarn from Area 51 Fibers. And that was okay, but I think I'm going to try 10 rounds for the cuff, 5 rounds for the leg. Try that out and see how I like that. So there's that. And then, so that's it for the finished objects for knitting. So now we're gonna get into a little bit of sewing because these I haven't shown yet. I talked about them, but I didn't show them. And so, quick pause everyone for coffee. We're already 10 minutes in. So, my first one, this was the first thing I made on my industrial sewing machine. If you remember, I got one a couple months back. So I made this purse. There's no real good way to show it. It's a sling bag. And this is the retro sling. I think that's what it's called, from Can Do Patterns. She is a UK pattern designer. And I had a lot of fun with this. So it has a zipper pocket in front, then this clasp comes down and you have a slip pocket here, and then a zipper pocket for the main, and then there's a slip pocket in the back. And then there's another pocket. There's a lot of pockets. Her patterns always come with a lot of pockets. Then there's this, I think it's like a theft-proof pocket in the back. And it's just a small slip pocket. So if you want to put, like, you know, your wallet or phone or something, things you don't want maybe stolen out of the back of your bag. But yeah, and then there's this ring so you can hang it up on like a hook. And I made the strap with this gray seatbelt webbing, and it's adjustable. So the strap is pretty long on this one. And this is made with quilt cotton, this is vinyl, and then on the inside is waterproof canvas. And that was the first time that I had sewn anything on my new industrial, and the first time I'd work with these materials, the vinyl and the waterproof canvas. And it was a challenge because I'm used to making my project bags, which the layers are pretty thin. I think the thickest layer I sew through is maybe like 1/2 inch. So nothing too crazy there. And these, oh man, it gets really thick after a while, because this is pretty thick vinyl. The waterproof canvas is pretty thick, and it got really, and it's really stiff. I actually ordered a new fabric that's coming next week, a water resistant canvas, a couple colors, and it's supposed to be a little bit thinner, a little bit more flexible. So when you're making the bags and stuff, if you know anything about sewing, it's easy, it's more malleable, easier to move the layers out of the way, etc. So I'm excited to get that in the mail and see how it compares to this OtterTex waterproof canvas that I used. So, and actually, because I have another purse that I made, that's my second one. Even though, how do I want to put this? I'm thinking of putting this up for sale on my website, because I made this for me, and me personally, for my needs, I don't really like this bag. I like it, and you know that I made it and stuff, but the style and the size, believe it or not, is too much for me. I'm a small purse carrier. I don't carry a lot of stuff with me outside of the essentials. So having a bigger bag with all this space, it just doesn't work for me. So if I do put it up for sale, it'll probably be at a discounted price from what I would normally offer these things if I do decide to, you know, make some and sell them in the future, just because, you know, the zippers don't match. All of them don't match. Like this one on the back is bronze and gray, and the two on the front match. They are this black on black zipper tape. So, and then of course in the inside, let me unclip this. Inside the bag, I would have used a gray that matched, because this is gray waterproof canvas, but for the binding, it's a lighter gray. So it's not like a perfect bag, but it is one of a kind. And then I stitched my label here. It was just kind of an experiment to see how I should attach it and put it on, but I'll show a different way I did it on this other one here in a minute. But anyway, so I have not put it up for sale yet. If you are interested in this, maybe shoot me a message, or I don't know, we're almost to 1,000 followers on Instagram. Maybe I could use it as a giveaway. We'll see. I don't know if people would want this over maybe a project bag or something, or a gift card to my shop. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below on that. Like, should this be a giveaway because it's one of a kind, or should I sell it now? I don't know. I don't want to keep it around if I'm not going to use it, especially because I think somebody else would really use it and love it. So yeah, so you can fit a decent amount of stuff in there. That's the width of it. But yeah, that's that. And then my new one that I just finished on Friday. It took me almost all day to make it. Well, not all day. It took me a while to figure out fabric combinations and stuff. That's kind of a new thing for me with these purses, with these bag patterns, is figuring out what combinations will look good together. So anyway, this is my newest one that I absolutely love. This is the perfect size for me. How cute is that? So this is the hipster pouch, also by Can Do Patterns. And I'll try to remember to link her stuff down below, but you can find her patterns on Etsy. And they're pretty affordable, you know, like $9, and she has coupons all the time. But yeah, it has a bunch of pockets. So it has this main pocket, this outer pocket. This is optional, this D-ring, to like hook keys onto, or whatever else you might want to put on there. And then it has that hidden pocket again, which this is the perfect size for my phone. And then on the inside, because it has like a 3D shape, so there's my wallet, and there's a inner pocket here. So for this one I used, this is, I think, a faux leather or faux vinyl or something, or like a leather vinyl, I don't know. I got a scrap box of stuff from Mormino.com. She's a bag maker, and so she sells like vinyls and stuff, so that's kind of where I've been collecting materials for that. But this was part of a scrap box, and I thought it went perfectly with this fox print. So this is quilt cotton, and I interfaced it with Decoville Heavy, so it would match kind of the strength of the outside material. And then this inside pocket, I kind of mixed and matched. I did this gray polka dot fabric for that. And I think I did that for all, yeah. Because I did that for that pocket. And that's a better view of it. But this is the back pocket. So I did that gray quilt cotton, and it's all interfaced to give it some structure. And then the inside here has that same, and then this gray on the inside, this is actually some cotton canvas. I've used this on some of my project bags before, and I had some leftovers, so I used it for this. And this is how I attached the label this time. Because normally, like on these bags, I've seen people attach their label here, but I don't have, and those are like leather labels or vinyl or just some other kind of nicer label than what I have on twill tape. So I just put mine on the inside. And this is for me, so I don't care. And then, again, my zippers match on this, but my hardware does not. So it's bronze zipper tape. The D-rings on this are silver, and then I only had rose gold that would fit this seatbelt webbing that I have, and then gold. So nothing on the hardware matches on this. And I don't care. But I know that if you're buying something from someone, you probably want it all to match, unless it's being sold as not matching. But the pattern, actually has two different options for the strap. So I did mine with the removable strap with the swivel hooks, but you can make it to where it's attached and then you have a buckle, like, you know, like a, no, not a side buckle. I think it's like a side release buckle or something like that. But anyway, it's a buckle so you can put it around, because this is essentially a fanny pack. Obviously you can tell, but I wear it as a crossbody and it works out perfect. And this purple webbing, I didn't think matched at first, but I actually really like it with this. But if I ever decide I want to make a different color strap, I like this removable option because I can change it out as I see fit, or put this on something else, or if I make another bag, I can just swap the strap over without having to make a new one. So, and this, I wish I would have made these, had these wider, but these are the only size D rings that I had, so this is what I had to do. But yeah, I really like this. I was able to take this out with me yesterday. I ran a bunch of errands in town, and this was perfect. It holds it holds my wallet, my phone, and in this pocket, in the pocket on the inside, I just have some essentials like gum, some eye drops, you know, a nail file, bobby pins. I keep very, very few things in my purse. Yeah, I don't like a lot of things in my purse, because even in this, I'm like, where are my keys? It's that small and I lose my keys. But yep, that was the second one I've made on my industrial machine. Actually, it was the third. So I made another of this bag, the sling bag, and I sent it to someone, but I'm not going to say who because it was a gift. But I know that she really, really loved it. So anyway, there's that. I've seen a couple more patterns for this style of bag that are much more simple in construction, because this has a lot of pieces to it. And the layers got really thick again. And so I think I might make myself another one with the new materials I have coming in, and hopefully it'll be thinner and easier to sew. We'll see. But I do really love this. So, yeah, maybe I'll make a different pattern and see how that turns out, but this one will not be for sale. And as a side note, I was thinking of using this print. I have a little bit more of this for some project bags here in August or September, maybe. Let me know if you like these foxes. But so there's that. And then my last finished object is the big one. So I know the last time, I think it was the last video, I talked about making scrap bags out of the corner pieces that I cut from my bags. And I did do one, and I hadn't even shown it. I don't think I've shown this on Instagram. I just hadn't gotten around to it. So this is the first time I'm showing it. Here she is. I made a big old blanket bag. And if you were one of the people that was maybe looking forward to something like this being in my shop, and then here's the inside. It is completely scrappy, like scrappy to the max, because they're all just random pieces. I just tried not to put the same two together, but some of them I wound up together. But this is going to be for my crochet granny stripe. I have everything ready in here. It's kind of hard to hold up. There's so much going on. But here's my hook. There's my big cake of yarn and all these minis. So this will eventually be started into a fingering weight crochet granny stripe. And I use this cute pumpkin zipper pull. I have a couple of these. I bought a pack of 5 last year and I just never used them. Unfortunately, if you were looking forward to maybe having these to buy, I won't be making any more of these. I hated it. I did. I hated making it, because if you are a quilter or you know anything about quilting and sewing, especially with squares, you know, you have to line up everything perfectly. And if you looked really closely at this, my pieces are not lined up because I didn't care. It was for me. So I just sewed it together haphazardly. And normally you would quilt down like here and across. That's, but I didn't want to do that either. So I will talk later about what I want to do with those squares. That's coming up towards the end. So stay tuned for that. So there's all the finished objects. Holy cow. I said this would be a long one, so. Okay, on to works in progress. I have quite a few, sort of. Meaning that I'm only really working on one at a time, but it's like, I have a bunch of socks that have been, like the first socks have been finished and the second socks are currently in limbo. So this first one, I'm holding in a bag. This was from last year. I don't have any more of these. You will recognize the fabric from the scrappy one that I made, but it was a dual bag. This on one side, this on the other. And this is the medium. And so in here, I'm holding some DK yarn. So I started a pair of DK socks. I will show you the first one. I don't have it on a blocker because my blockers are housing other works in progress. But this, oh, I love that so much. This is the, where is my tag for that? Oh, here it is. So I bought this from the Crazy Sock Lady shop. Some of you might recognize it. So this is from Kimber's Cozy Creations, and it is her Crazy Sock Lady colorway on her DK base. And I love, love, love these colors. Love it. And I have this Progress Keeper from Crazy Sock Lady made by Monster Knits on here, and I think it matches so well. Oh, you can't. Keeps wanting to flip over. But it's kind of like a purpley glitter in there. You've probably seen that before. But yes, love these. Oh, and I think I mentioned a while back on DK socks that I did. How I wanted to do the cuff and the leg. So I used the Crazy Sock Ladies DK vanilla sock pattern, and for this one I actually changed up just a little bit. I changed up the ratio, and I really love this. So her pattern calls for 10 rounds for the cuff, 30 rounds for the leg. And that's okay. But I think a longer cuff just kind of cinches in a little bit more and holds a little better. That's just for me on my foot. But for this one, I did 15 rounds for the cuff, and then I did 25 rounds for the leg. So I just changed up the ratio of ribbing to stockinette, and it fits lovely. Love it. This is actually I do these on 2.75. I don't think I mentioned that. I do my DK socks on 2.75 millimeter needles instead of the recommended 3.25, just because I know that I'm a little bit of a looser knitter. So I just started doing it that way, and that seemed to be the perfect needle size for me right off the bat. So I am on the second one. I've just been using this as my TV knitting after we're done eating dinner and we're watching a little bit of TV. So I am through the gusset, not through the gusset. I'm through the heel flap and the heel turn. And I just haven't picked up the gusset stitches yet. I just finished the heel turn last night before we got done watching TV. So pleased with that. Loving them. Loving them. And I only have a few skeins of DK yarn, so I've decided to just kind of house them in this bag while I work through them. And the next one I have in here, which I will start when this pair is done, because I have 3 more skeins of DK yarn after this one. So I just kind of want to go through and knit them, especially, you know, we're in July already, and before you know it, fall and winter will be here, and warmer socks are always nice. So right here, these neon colored ones you can see, that is from Granite State Yarns, my friend Lauren, and this was her Neon Flash sock set, and she actually sent this to me last year for my birthday, and it was so sweet and lovely, and I'm finally gonna get around to knitting it up. And I'm excited. I'm gonna swap the minis for the probably the toes and the cuffs. I don't think I'll do an alternating heel, but we'll see how I feel when I finally cast it on, which will be after this second sock is done. But I'm using these second socks as kind of my TV knitting. So getting a little bit in each day and just working through them one at a time until I get the pairs done. So there's that one. And then my second one that I want to talk about, I'll show the first finished sock. And I haven't started the second one because I'll start it after I finish that one. But it is this guy. This beautiful sock set is from Zebra Yarns, Anna. This is her mint cookie, and this is the full skein, and it came with the black mini, and I actually love this black mini. I don't know if it'll, oh, it might, yeah, there you go. If you can see, it's not like a dark black. Oh, I don't have the, like, Breaking Yarns black, the Jane Margolis, that is like a black, like a dark, true black. This one kind of has a little bit of gray undertones in it, so it is truly mint cookie, and I loved that. I was working it up, and I just thought, it really is mint cookie. It was great. I love that it's not like a super, super dark black. So this I did. These are for Adrian. I was doing the, oh, let me show it without the markers. This is actually the Holly White socks pattern from Breaking Yarn. I just didn't do it on the back. You're supposed to do it all the way around the foot, or on the leg, and then the foot on the top, but I just did it across the top of the whole sock. We were supposed to knit these together, McKaylee and I, from Breaking Yarn, and I just got so busy in June that I only got the one done. But I will eventually finish the pair. And for this, I did a shadow wrap heel again. I wanted to try it again. And it actually fits a lot better this time on his foot, because instead of, because the first pairs I did 11 shadow wraps on each side, and then had, is that right? No. I had, I gotta think about that. Anyway, I did a different ratio for the middle and then the shadow wraps. I did less shadow wraps. I did 10 on each side, 12 in the middle. So the depth is, it's not as deep. So there's not as much fabric back here. So yes, and these socks were quite the journey, or this one anyway, because I started it toe up and got to knitting. I was almost completely done with the foot and realized, why does this sock look so big? And it was because I used the wrong needle size. I was using a 2.25, and the Grinch socks that I had made from Zebra Yarns, earlier in the year, I had the same problem with the first one, and the second one I knit with a 2mm, and it was perfect. Because even though her base is a 75-25, it's just a little bit thicker than, it's a little bit thicker than this 75-25, so my gauge is bigger with it. So I had to completely frog it, and I let it rest for like a week because I was so just like, grrr. I was so, I had to breathe it out. Because it was like, man, I did all that work and now I have to rip it out. Because I was on track to do like, I was going to have the pair done. I would have it knit with McKaylee in the month. And then that happened. It was just like, oh, wow, come on. But yes, 2mm, and it was much, much better. So I have to remember that, because I do have a lot of Anna's yarn, and I just need to remember in the future when I cast those colors on 2mm needles, Danielle, use 2mm. So anyway, there's that one. And I am housing the leftovers for the second sock. There you go. There's the cake of yarn. So pretty. In my Schitt's Creek Rose Apothecary bag. There are still some of these in the shop if you're a fan of the show. And there's you can see the logo. There you go. Yeah, love this. So, and I gotta rewatch that show again. In case you didn't know, if you're a fan, it's leaving Netflix, I think, in August or September. Sometime in the fall. It's really sad because I like to go back and rewatch that one. Or I'll just have to buy the DVDs because I'm old school like that. Okay, so my third work in progress, and I did show this on Instagram. I showed that one too. There we go. This is my second pair of socks with that mini set. And I love this so much. So I decided, I was looking at this yarn and I'm like, how do I want to work this up? So I decided to do a scrappy, stripy pair of socks. The Crazy Sock Lady's been doing these like crazy here lately, and I don't love knitting with minis because I hate weaving in the ends. And I know there's other ways to weave as you go, and I did do that a little bit on this one, but it's just not my favorite. But I thought it would look so cool with these colors. I love 4th of July colors and Christmas colors. But yes, so I did this one, and the second one, which whenever I started, only the blue and the red will be switched. So it'll be a blue cuff, and then blue toe, and then just those colors will be swapped. But the white and the speckled will be in the same places. And the white is the only yarn that didn't come from the set. That was actually from a mini skein set I had that I'd gotten from Pumpkins and Wool, now the Woolly Owl. And I didn't use it. It was with those Halloween socks I made last year, and I just didn't end up incorporating it into the socks. So I had it left over, and I thought, perfect. I can have my red, white, and blue socks. So these are actually for Adrian as well. He's gonna have 2 pairs of 4th of July socks. And I think I will have enough. I weighed out what I had left when I started these, and I think I will have enough to make a 3rd pair. That's awesome. And I'm going to do that because I love this Daisy Stitch Co. yarn. Her yarn is just amazing. And so I don't know how I'm going to work up that pair, but this is the color that I have the least amount of, because obviously I used a lot of it on the shorties. So the 3rd pair I make will have maybe less and less speckled. So anyway, there's that. And I'm housing the leftovers. Here's all of the leftovers in this cute other 4th of July bag. There's all that in there waiting for me to get started. I just love this so much. I may never put this bag away. I loved these prints last year when I did those other bags, and this combination, I just love it so much. And then of course in there too, these were just scraps I had, but I do have enough left over of these prints that I could cut them like this if nobody cares if this is the wrong direction, because it's supposed to be like this. But maybe next year I can make some of these, because I'm loving making these snap scrappy bags. But yeah, so there's that one. Okay, now I have a little bit of progress to show you on my Hocus Pocus shawl. I know, crazy. So actually I had to frog this and restart it. I didn't have very much, which if you remember when I showed it the last time, I had like the little tiniest amount. And the reason I had to frog it is because I had my markers in the wrong place, number 1. And number 2, the free pattern, you're supposed to put a marker at the beginning that distinguishes itself from the other markers, and I didn't do that. Rookie mistake. So I frogged it and it was fine. There wasn't much done. And so I restarted it, And I haven't picked this up actually in a couple weeks to work on it, but it is much bigger than last time you saw it. So there we go. A lot more progress. And it is it'll be a triangular shawl. Just a normal eyelets in the middle, here on the edging. And I have this cute little witch's boot progress keeper of mine on there. And so, yeah, hopefully once I'm done with some of these other projects, or as we'll see. I really want this done for Halloween, but I don't know. I just need to put in like a couple rows a day, because it's going to get really, really big, because it's going to be a 3-skein shawl when it's all said and done. But yeah, I just need to make a plan and put in a couple rows a day. But I'm pleased with how it's looking so far. It's going to be beautiful. And this is in my pumpkins and plaid bag from last year. I think I have one small of this left and a couple of large, but no medium. But yeah, love this still. I just figured hocus pocus, I'll put it in a Halloween fall related bag. Those particular ones are not on sale. It's just strictly Halloween. Like the Casper and the hocus pocus, I think, are the only Halloween ones. The other ones were technically fall. So just kind of an FYI for the Yule-a-ween sale. Okay. So my next one, my final my final whip to talk about today is an exciting one. I just showed this on Instagram last week, and I'm so excited about it because, let me show you the bag first, because I love Gilmore Girls. So this is a print. This is a medium size. I don't have any of these in my shop. I just made this one for myself last year when I was just I just had a little bit of this fabric, and but I do have some small zipper ones, and those have handles. This one does not. I do have a few of those left in the shop. But anyway, so this is the yarn that I'm using. This corally yarn. I'll pull out this little bundle. I'm still in the first skein for this project. This is actually Lion Brand ZZ Twist. So I've had these 4 skeins forever, like for at least 4 or 5 years. Because I intended to make a crochet project with them, and it was a crochet top from a video online, so it was free, and I just never got around to it. So the yarn's been sitting and sitting, and I finally found a pattern where I thought, okay, I could use it for this. This might be cool. Even though this yarn, because ZZ Twist, it's opposite from an S twist, which is what normal yarn is, it's meant for crochet. Like it shines, the twist shines in crochet projects for this twist of yarn. But I'm knitting with it because I want to. So I am making a tank top. I'm so excited about it. Okay, let me make sure I'm showing you. Okay, here it is. We're in the process. Look at that. Don't mind this. This is my tail that I had too much of. So this, I've joined in the round, as you can see, and this is, like that. This is the little LIL sprout pattern from Christie Archer Designs. And this is not the recommended yarn that she uses in the pattern. It is the recommended weight, for whatever that's worth, because there's no real standard across the industry for how people categorize their yarn. But anyway, it calls for a worsted weight, but she uses cotton or cotton linen blends as her recommended and the ones she's made. But I thought I would try it out with this. It took me, I had to do like 4 gauge swatches before I finally got gauge. And so I'm using quite a bit bigger needle size than what she recommends. So I don't know how this is going to turn out size wise, but I kind of don't care because if it doesn't fit, because this is my first one, my first garment I've ever made, if it doesn't fit to where I can wear it out in public because it's too baggy, I'll just wear it around my house, wear it around our pool, over a swimsuit. Who cares? I'm just so excited about making my first garment. I don't know why I picked this one because the pattern has German short rows for the shaping right here in the front and back, which I didn't know how to do, which isn't very hard. I was like, oh crap, new technique, but don't let that scare you because the German short rows only last till about here. It's from like this corner to about here, but it just adds a little bit of shaping to the front and back. And the pattern's actually really easy. I was a little bit intimidated because, as I was telling McKaylee Breaking Yarn on Instagram about it, I read the whole pattern when I got it. And don't do that. Don't do that. If you're making a garment, or if you do, just be mindful that just take it one line at a time. Because when I decided, okay, I'm just gonna try it. What's the worst that can happen? I've had this yarn forever. It's not expensive. If I mess it up, who cares? But I just literally took it one line at a time, just concentrated on the line that I was on and went from there. And here we are. We're on the body. And this pattern, so you knit the neckband, then you do the front shaping, and then you go around and you do the back, like you knit the whole front panel almost till you get down here at the last yarn over. And then once you're done with that, then you switch and you do the back neck shaping, knit down, and then you join in the round for it. And then you knit the body and the hem and you're done. And so for the hem, you can't really see with this yarn. It's not going to show it very well, but this is actually ribbing. So she has ribbing built into this side panel. So it helps with shaping, or at least it's supposed to. And so I thought that was genius too. And the pattern calls for a split hem at the bottom, but I think I'm just gonna do a regular hem around because I think this one might be big enough with the yarn that I don't need to do a split hem. The split hem it's a style choice as well as to allow room around the hips. So, and I love that it's top down. And so I've made some mistakes on this. First, I made mistakes on the front. So this has been a learning process. So you see these holes here, those are not supposed to be there. I did an extra German short row when I wasn't supposed to. So there was that first one. But whatever, it's fine. It'll all work out in the end. And then for this one, move this tail, if you can see, it looks like I missed a yarn over on this side. So, but I love it. And I definitely have yarn to show you that I bought to make more. So yeah, this is, if you're looking for a summer knit, and this would look really great under cardigans too. And I love this style. So it'll, you know, it hugs up around, ooh, like that, around your neck. It'll be like right around here. Or if you live in a really hot climate, these would be perfect. And with this particular yarn, I actually have, let's see, I have 3 full skeins of different colors and 2 partial skeins of different colors. So depending on how much this takes, because based off of the size that I'm doing, I calculated the yardage that I was supposed to use, and it called for roughly 3 to 4, 3.5, 4 skeins. But this will be like my test one, because if I don't use all 4, then I'll know if I can make more out of these other colors. And they might be, you know, a little bit of color blocking in there. We'll see. I'm looking for ways to use up the yarn that I have, because I don't necessarily want to get rid of it because I've had it forever. I do want to make things with it. It's just finding things to make with it. Because I find searching for patterns very cumbersome. And maybe that's just me because, you know, whatever. Anyway, I won't get into all that today, but there's that. I'm super excited about it. I cannot wait to have it done. And if you've never heard of Christie Archer Designs, her pattern was picked for the spring shawl cowl with Nitty Natty and Yarnia back in the spring, the outstraining shawl. And she has some really great patterns. I bought her sock pattern to make my grandmother a pair of socks because they don't have a heel, and I haven't started those yet, but I'm excited to see how those work out because though the pattern itself, the way it's constructed, would be great for gift socks because you don't have to take any real measurements for gift knits. So, you know, like for me, it's my own sock. I can put it on. But if I want to make socks for other people, this pattern is perfect for that because you don't really need any true measurements. But it's her Simply Irresistible sock, if you're wondering what I'm talking about. You can go look that up. But I've been following her for a little while now, since before Christmas, because she did a test knit for the Autumn Acorn, Judy of the Autumn Acorn, for her socks. And so the socks she made were beautiful and the pictures she took were just phenomenal. And so I started following her and watching her podcast videos. And I just want to briefly touch on that because if you've never watched her podcast videos, do yourself a favor and go watch them. They're long because she only does one a month. So they're always over an hour, which is fine with me. You know, you get like an hour of knitting if you have that time, or you can break it up and whatever. But I love that whether it's her own pattern or someone else's, she always uses affordable yarn. She almost never uses expensive hand-dyed yarn for her stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Just want to put that out there because I obviously have a lot of hand-dyed yarn that cost me quite a bit, and I don't regret any of it. But I love that her garment, because she knits a lot of garments, like almost exclusively garments, but they're all made with like Hobby Lobby yarn or you know, like a Joann's or Michael's or any of those big box store yarns that are accessible. And people, you know, I don't know if people scoff at that or not. I guess there's probably sectors of the yarn community where it's like they don't care what yarn you use, they just want the beautiful finished object. Other people might be maybe yarn snobs, where it's, or maybe a little pickier, I don't know how you want to put that, but where they just want to use the expensive luxury yarns. But she uses inexpensive yarns, and I mean, she's openly talked about, you know, she's like, I don't have a lot of money to spend on yarns, so she buys a lot from Hobby Lobby, and I will talk about some I bought to make more little sprouts here in just a minute, because it's kind of like, I have shopped there before, but now that, like, when I started knitting, it was socks and smaller things and hats and shawls and scarves and stuff. Those are mainly the things I started knitting with first, and I was using hand-dyed yarn that I got or whatever. And I had crocheted before with the cheaper yarns, but obviously if you're a crocheter or a knitter, you know that those two work up very different fabrics. And I had crocheted a cardigan when this was years ago, and I have now since gotten rid of that because it didn't fit me. You know, I made a lot of mistakes with that, but mostly I think it was because, and the yarn, I tried to salvage it, but I couldn't. Anyway, the cardigan was crocheted in pieces, and I think if I had known how to knit back then and knitted with that same yarn, it would have turned out perfect because, as we all know, knitting has a lot of stretch to it. Crochet, not so much. And I've talked about this before, I can't crochet a whole lot anymore because of my wrist. And even now, years later, I start crocheting and my wrist just instantly starts hurting. So crochet is not really in the cards for me, but that's okay. I love the way knitted pieces look. I really do. And so having started this little sprout top, super excited, especially watching her channel. The idea is turning in my head of using the yarn that I have from Joann's or Michael's or whatever big box store inexpensive yarns that I have. I feel confident now I can make like a sweater or sweaters or a cardigan or just any of those things where I could use this yarn because it is beautiful, it is soft, it would make beautiful garments, and now I can use it. So I'm excited about that. That was just like, yeah, because I have like, oh, I can actually show it. So this kind of leads into future cast-ons. So for example, I have been holding on to this forever. This was the leftovers from that cardigan I just talked about because I had bought a lot of this. So this is 2 cakes in one. I just wound it together, and then this is just one skein of yarn. But this is actually Lion Brand's, the Lion Brand Heartland collection, I think. And this is the color Grand Canyon. And they still sell this. They still sell this colorway. And so I'm going to make a sweater out of this. It's kind of a heathered, if you've ever seen this at the store, this is like it's a gray. It looks gray from afar, but when you look at it really close, there's some tan in here. It's just a really beautiful color. And I think it would make a really pretty, just neutral sweater that would go with anything. And then this is also Heartland or Lion Brand Heartland, but I don't have the tag, so I don't know the color off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure they still sell this color too. So this is just kind of like a brownish gray with a little bit of tan in it. And so I can finally use these up. I'm so excited. And I have a beige color over here with a ton of yarn in this big cake. If you watched my yarn stash video from earlier in the year, you will have probably seen that. But I have this big bag of worsted yarn that I'd started making a blanket out of. And honestly, I don't really want to make the blanket because it's going to be super heavy. And I just don't really want to make it. So I'm excited that this is now like opened a door for me where I feel confident enough to start trying garments and maybe using some of these bulky or worsted weight yarns up in this capacity. So that's exciting. I just wanted to touch on that a little bit. For anyone out there that maybe you're like me and I've never done a garment before, because I'm a relatively new knitter. I've been knitting for about 2-ish years and haven't done any garments thus far because, you know, gauge swatching and the time it takes and the techniques, and it was all very intimidating. So after doing this tank top, I feel more confident doing that, and that is so exciting. I want to join in on the garment making that everybody else does. So anyway, that's kind of a future cast on, if you will. And let's see. Oh, actually, in this same bag, this is not a project bag. It's just a tote bag I made myself a long time ago when I started sewing. I just wanted a tote bag. So I made a basic one. Anyway, so I actually, before I started that other little sprout, I actually gauge swatched with this yarn, this beautiful mint. Here's a little bit of the gauge swatch. This was like the second or third one I did. But I was getting gauge with this for the pattern. The only problem is, so this is the, because I have the band covered up, this is the Knit and Crochet Essential Cotton brand that's sold at Joann's, and it's super soft. Like, it is a soft Turkish cotton. I can't find more of this. I bought these with the intention of making something else, so I only bought the one ball, and for this top I need probably 3, maybe 4 to get my size. I don't know. So I might make like a weird mismatched color blocked top with that. I don't know. We'll see. again, something I can just wear around the house or around our pool, or I could even wear in public. I don't care if it looks goofy. But so there's that one. That's going to be a little sprout. Then I'll talk about more here in a minute. So I want to do probably for August. I'm not going to say July because other things are being done, but all of these second socks are kind of going to be the focus of July or August because whatever I don't get done in the month of July, you know, for my TV knitting, I'll be focusing on these second socks in August. That'll kind of be like a summer wrap up for me, getting them done. And we'll see, because these little sprouts that I want to knit may take up all of my attention. And I'm perfectly okay with that. So, you already saw the other ones, but these are actually, these yarns are being held in this bag. I need to knit the second socks. I knit one with this. That was a cotton collage yarn from Premier. And then last year I started summer sock camp with this yarn, and I only knit one of them. So these both need their pair or their mates. And so my goal is to get those done by the end of August, because it's like an unfinished project in my brain and I just can't let it go. And then, oh, I forgot a whip. Well, I'm not very far in it. So I started oh, it's a big tangled mess. Oh my goodness. Oh, Lord have mercy. I started a journey sock. It's curling. It's curling because of the way that it's made. So there. And this is actually a cotton sock yarn from Regia. And it is, it doesn't really have a color. It's the cotton Tutti Frutti. I call it lemon lime because it is a yellow green colorway, but this is, yeah, it's a cotton sock yarn. It is 72% cotton, 18% polyamide, and 10% polyester. I've never worked with this before, and I actually have two of these. I have this one and a watermelon one, and I just pulled it off my wall to try out a journey sock, and obviously you see I haven't gotten very far because I'm trying to understand that pattern. It took me a little bit. It took me a little bit of brain power to be like, what? How does this work? But I think I have it figured out. I just haven't gotten a chance to work on it, but I want to see how those fit for shorties because they don't use up a lot of yarn, supposedly. And yeah, I do like short socks. So an hour later, here we are. So, the other thing I want to do in July, even though we're already at July 10th, we only have 20 days left in the month. I want to try my hand at 2 at a time socks again. And there we go. So this is actually a Daisy Stitch Co. yarn. Do I even have the tag? It's not in here. So this was from Daisy Stitch Co. I got it last year. I can't remember what it was called. But it is a Christmas yarn, and these are 2 50-gram cakes that I had split unintentionally. And I want to try 2 at a time again. So I'm going to try toe up 2 at a time with a Flegel heel because I'm not going to do any contrast and see how that goes. So I've been itching to do toe up socks again. And I wish Kay, the crazy sock lady, would come out with her tutorial on how to do her toe in reverse. She showed it and didn't talk about how she did it. She said she was going to do a video, but she's been so slammed, of course, that, yeah, I don't know. So anyway, I'm going to do that. I want that to be my July, Christmas in July cast on. I'll probably start those today, maybe. We'll see. So that's kind of it for that. So this brings me to acquisitions. I don't have a whole lot to talk about. I'll talk about this one first. Oh, it's falling apart. Oh no, my label's coming off. Uh-oh. So I couldn't help myself. I've been pretty good about not buying any yarn. I really want to focus on using what I have. I've talked about that many times, so I won't go into detail, but I saw this and the name of it just drew me in, along with the colors, of course. So this is another set from Daisy Stitch Co. Look at those colors. Oh, this is called Sanibel Sun. Her Sanibel Sun sock set. And the minis are Cool Water and Sunshine. And I love this yellow. I would love this in a tank top. Like if the little sprout pattern was in fingering weight, which I'm trying to, if anybody has any tips on how to convert a pattern from one weight of yarn to another, let me know. I've been researching that because this in that little sprout pattern, oh, it looks so beautiful. Anyway, so I got this sock set from, I think last week she had these up for sale, and I just love it. And I can't, she does beautiful things with yarn. I bought that. That's the only sock yarn, only hand-dyed yarn I have to talk about. So the other yarn will be for little sprouts. So that mint one, I had bought this one as well, this yellow. So I could do like a half yellow, half mint one. Oh, but yeah, there's that. But I did buy enough in this color yesterday because I was out shopping. This is called Denim. How beautiful is that blue in that little sprout pattern? Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is called, is it called Denim? Yeah, that's the color Denim. So there's the rest of it right there. And then I'm going to talk about all of these. I have a lot to talk about. All right, let me grab these. I'll show them all at once and then we'll talk about them one at a time. So I bought all of these colors yesterday at Hobby Lobby to make little sprout tops. Oh my gosh. How beautiful are those going to be as tank tops? Okay, so this is from Hobby Lobby. This is Yarn Bee's Fresh Haven yarn. And oh my gosh, it's amazing. It has the most beautiful shine. This one doesn't show very well. This is a worsted weight. It's 100% lyocell or tinsel yarn, which I think is from bamboo, or it's a plant fiber. But it is so soft and silky. So I think these are going to be amazing for those little sprout tops. Like it feels just awesome on the skin. It's so soft. So as you saw, I bought a bunch of different colors because I think like every other week Hobby Lobby has like 30% off their yarn or something. So these are $4.99 normally a skein, but I got them for $3.50 each. And for the pattern, I need a minimum of 4 for the size that I would do, maybe a little less, but so they were $3.50 each. So times that's like $14. I can't do math, but less than $15 for a top. Yeah, you basically can't even get that at the store, buying one that's already made and it's cheap and will fall apart. So I'm gonna just run through the colors really quick. So this color, this tan, is called Hummus. So I think that'll be a nice neutral to go with. I have some green shorts that I think this would go cute with. And then I bought, this is just called Gray. So it's like a silvery gray color. And then what is this one called? Oh, this is called Iceberg. This kind of it's kind of a grayish green color. It's super pretty. And then This is called Jade Green, which I love this. Here you can, this one really shows the shine. So this, I think, is Yarn Bee's version of, what is it? Lion Brand True, I think. That's 100% rayon from bamboo or whatever. But if you've looked at that at the store, the twist on it is so different. Because I have a similar yarn to that up there. I have a Cake of the Kobu. The ply on it is not very tight. So this one, you can see the ply of the yarn, it's twisted very tightly. And from what I read online is, this is, yes, it's silky, yes, it's lyocell or whatever, so it glides through needles or hooks very easily, but it doesn't split as much as those yarns. And it's cheaper, so. And they have like 10 different colors, I think, and I bought almost every color they had enough. And then this one is called Iron, so this is obviously a dark gray. It looks a little bit chocolate on the screen, but it is a dark gray. And they only had 3 of these, so I'm really hoping that that's enough. But this wasn't like a clearance yarn or anything, so I don't think the colors are being discontinued. So I'm pretty confident that when I get around to making this one, I can go back and buy a 4th one if I need to. And honestly, I mean, I'm not worried about dye lots and all that kind of stuff. It's whatever. I don't really care about that. But and this last one, this is going to be the one I make next because I love, love, love this color so, so much. I love it. This is called Red Clay. Oh my goodness. I love this color so much. I don't even know. I don't know what colors look good on me, but I know I am going to make a top out of this. Yeah, I love a brick red. I love mauves and purples and purpley reds, and I love those, and brick reds. I love brick reds so much. So yes, this will be the one I do next. And I will say that, so Christie Archer, she did use this particular yarn on one of her little sprout tops. In one of her episodes, she talked about how this did give her a different gauge than the pattern, because while it is considered a worsted, it is a thinner worsted than the cotton linens that she used, or the cotton. But she was okay with a little bit of tighter gauge for the pattern. So I'm still gonna do a gauge swatch, figure out what my gauge is, and kind of go from there and see, do I knit the same size? And obviously it will all depend on how this one turns out. But I'm excited because these are all gonna be so beautiful. Ooh. I cannot wait. And they're supposed to be, they're pretty quick knits. I did the front and the back pieces in like a day each, like once I figured out the pattern and how to follow the instructions. And I'm sure I could do it quicker now. And I just haven't worked on the body in the last couple of days, but she does hers in like 2 days. So if you have a lot of knitting time, then yeah, you could probably finish it pretty quick. So anywho, so now we're going to move into shop update news. So first I want to say really quick, which I probably should have said at the beginning, but oh well, we'll say it now. Summer sock camp bags for the Crazy Sock Lady shop. I did make more. I made 50 more and sent those to her last week in the mail, or at the end of June. So I would expect to see those come up in her shop maybe next week, maybe the week after. I know if you follow her on Instagram, she's on vacation right now, so I don't know how that's gonna work out with her shop update, but they are waiting for her to pick up at her P.O. box. So once she gets those and inventories them and stuff, then there you go. The only difference on those bags, because I know I've had quite a few people message me and ask, am I doing more? When is she gonna get them, etc. The only difference is the snaps that I used on them, which I don't have mine over here. The original batch had colored snaps that kind of coordinated with the fabric. This new batch, they're clear snaps. That's the only difference. So, shop update. I have a couple new things in my shop that I put in like a week and a half ago or so. And I just obviously haven't recorded, so I haven't had a chance to show. So my first one is what I'm calling my scrappy hocus pocus bag. I made about 8 of these with leftovers. And it has all of the fabrics that I used last year. There's the Binks fabric on the bottom. Here's these 2 prints and those, a black handle. These are all zipper. And on the inside, most of them have this fabric with the purple and the orange. There are a couple that only have the purple because that's all I had left over. So this is just me trying to use up what I have, just like with the yarn. And then I do have a couple of these left, more snap bags, but I'm calling this my scrappy Grinch bag, and I love these so much. Oh my gosh. They obviously are the same prints. The green handle, the inside, and this is the Merry Grinchmas fabric that I used last year, and I actually have 1 of these left in the shop. So this is actually, that bag's actually $10 off if you wanted to snag it right now. But this print I did not make any bags out of. I made 2 prize bags last year for a cow that I hosted on Instagram, and these were from the leftovers. So there you go. I love these so much. I'm just loving them, loving the scrappy looking snap bags. And then I do have, I finally got around. I've been wanting to do this since I opened my shop, and I just have not made the time to do any of these, but I made some needle cozies. So Grinch needle cozies for your Christmas knits. What do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 of these. And some of them have green snaps, some of them have black. It was just what I had in my stash. Still coordinating, still looks good, but these actually have the Christmas lights fabric that I used in the Grinchmas bags. It's just what went best with the amount of fabric that I had. And then I had some fabric left over from the sock camp bags, and so I made some needle cozies with the scraps that I had left. These were not big enough to make more bags. The pieces just were too small. They were big enough to make these needle cozies. So these have been on sale for a little bit, so I don't have as many, but I have 1 of the sock print left. And these all have the gray, these look just like the inside of the bag, the gray checkered. And then I have these 4 left of the camping fabric. So if you're interested in these, head on over to my shop. There is a category for them now for needle cozies. And I don't know how often I will make needle cozies, but it's definitely going to be something where if I'm wanting kind of a sewing palette cleanser and I'm trying to look up for ways to use up the fabrics that I have, this will definitely be something that I do. So if you guys like needle cozies, let me know. And if you want to see other prints, you know, like Christmas and stuff, we'll see. And then 2 other ones that I wanted to show. Oh, actually 3 other ones that I wanted to show really quick, really quick, because we're getting long here. These aren't for sale anymore, but I did want to show these because this is what I'm talking about when I say scrappy bags from prints from like last year or previous collections that I'm going to try and incorporate and make something new out of. This one's not done. This one's for me, but this I called my Christmas camping bag. And I actually had these prints obviously last year in 2 different collections for bags by themselves, but I combined them. I think they look so cute. And I was only able to make 3 of these, and unfortunately they are all sold already, but they had this red polka dot fabric in there, and this was mine. So I had to combine a solid and the polka dot. And of course it's mine, so I don't care. But the reason this one isn't done is because I had to piece a bunch of this together, and right there at the top, I had to sew, hand stitch some of the stuff back together before I could top stitch. So I got to finish that up so I can use it. So, so when I talk about scrappy bags, those are going to be kind of the things that you can look forward to if you like those. I'm definitely looking through my scraps and seeing what combinations look good together, because I don't want to just want to throw anything together. I want it to actually be cohesive and look good together. So yeah. And then these two I've held on to even before I started my shop. I made these as kind of what I call experiment bags. And I think I'm going to put them up for sale along with that purse. And these will be much cheaper than my normal large size bag. So I have these two Halloween bags that I made. These are made a little bit different than my bags normally. These have a thicker interfacing in them. And this was like my original tag. So it's up here. And I was doing an experiment to see if I liked this. This was that ruler tape. You can take it off. I didn't really care for that, but like the inside, it's this green, neon green, and I used the same fabric and had a little pocket when I was still doing pockets, drawstring. So these are large bags. So there's that one. There's only one each, obviously. And then this one, these laughing pumpkins, this just has the normal handle, but I used the ruler tape for the drawstring on this one. And on the inside here, it's orange, and then this black polka dot fabric with gold on it. So I think I'm gonna make an experiment section on my site and put these up for sale, because I don't want them to just hang out because I'm not using them. So someone else might like them, might love them. This is great for the start of a shawl or a sweater or whatever, or any of those things. So yeah, let me know what you think about that in the comments. So last thing that I wanted to touch on before I get off of this very long video, if you made it to this point in the video, thank you very much. I appreciate you sticking around for this very, very long episode. The last thing I want to talk about, the scrappy bags that I showed earlier that I said I wasn't going to make. After having made that one, and like I said, I'm not going to make those. I have no desire to sew them up. However, I have tons of those squares in all different sizes. The small ones are 1 3/4 inch squares. The medium are 2 1/4 inch squares, and the large ones are 2.5 inch squares. My thought, if you are a sewer, or you want to get into sewing, or I don't know, maybe you just want, or maybe paper piecing. I don't know if they're big enough for English paper piecing. I was thinking of selling, because they're like in these huge gallon-sized Ziploc bags stuffed to the brim with all different kinds of fabric. Some are lined, like the outer pieces have been lined with Pellon SF 101. So they're a little bit stiffer. And then of course there's the unlined, and I have them all separated. I was thinking of listing those bags for sale on my site. Probably for like $10 a bag, because I just want to get rid of them. But I don't want to throw them away because they're perfectly usable pieces of fabric. So I thought maybe one of you guys might want to use them for something. So maybe by the time you see this, those will be up for sale, but I might wait to kind of get your feedback before I put those up for sale. Yeah, those would be perfect if somebody wants to make a scrappy blanket or a bag or quilt. It might take you a while to make them, but you know, they're basically charm packs. Small charm, like mini charm packs, are technically 2.5 inch squares, so I do have some smaller than that. But if that's something you're into, or you've been wanting to try as an intro to sewing, and you don't want to put up maybe the investment to go out and buy fabric or cut them up or whatever, here's a good solution. You can buy a big old bag of squares and, you know, piece them together, or if your kids are learning how to sew or something. Yeah. So I just wanted to throw that out there. If anybody's interested in those scrap bags, let me know. I will be more than happy to put them up for sale and send them to you. And yeah, I think the only kind of scrappy bags that you're gonna see from me are gonna look like this, or even these. This was kind of a pain because I had to measure out pieces, but I wanted to use every last bit of this stuff. So more than likely, it's just going to be 2 coordinating fabrics that look like this. So most likely. And I'm just calling them my scrappy, like scrappy Grinch bag, scrappy Hocus Pocus. That's probably what you'll see them as on the website. And I did make a separate category for those. So if you're searching for just those, you can see that on the left-hand side under categories. So I think that's everything for this episode. Again, if you stuck around this long to watch all of this blabbering chitter chatter, thank you so much for watching. And if you're looking for the new project bags, head on over to my shop, MidwestStitches.com, and take a look around and see if there's anything for the Yule-a-ween sale or whatever that you would like to take a look at. And yeah, leave me a comment down below if you have any questions or comments about this episode, and follow me over on Instagram at midwest.stitches. We are so close to 1,000 followers. And once I hit that milestone, I will be doing a giveaway, and I'm excited for that. So hopefully for the end of 2022, we will make that milestone. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel for more episodes. And hopefully I will be back to weekly or bi-weekly podcasts. We'll see. Until next time, guys, have a great start to your week or whenever you're watching this, and I will see you next time. Bye.